Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Kulkarni and today we are going to start the first chapter of 8th standard geography, that is resources. Okay, तो आज हम 8th standard का geography का first chapter शुरू करते हैं. Name is resources. Okay, so in this chapter what are the things we are going to learn? Okay, in this chapter we are going to see what are resources, classification of resources, and the principal resources are available in the world, then the conservation of resources, the sustainable development. Then let us start with the introduction part. Okay, everybody knows, our earth is a unique planet which has the opportunities for the survival and substance of life. What exactly it mean? In the solar system, in the planet system, we have so many planets, but why earth is having unique qualities? Why earth is so unique? What are the unique qualities which makes earth so special? Okay, सोलर सिस्टम में इतने सारे प्लैनेट्स है, उतने प्लैनेट्स को छोड़ के अर्थ पे ही क्या स्पेशलिटी है जिससे लाइफ है यहाँ पे? Okay, the survival of life is what are the opportunities which makes the survival of life available on the earth, which makes it easy? We know that for living organisms the basic need is air and water. So these are the opportunities which makes the survival of life easy, है ना? अर्थ यूनिक क्यों है? क्योंकि इसके ऊपर हवा, पानी और उसका एडिक्वेट एनवायरनमेंट है उसको, है ना? So that's why it makes unique. Our earth is a unique planet which has opportunities for survival and substance of life. Our natural environment is a vast storehouse of innumerable usable substances along with the special qualities, that is your air, water and the environment. In the environment of earth, it is like a storehouse, है ना? हवा पानी के साथ साथ एक संग्रहालय है, where you can, the earth is having the storage of so many materials which are usable to human being, like we have coal, petroleum, gold, iron, silver, isn't it? So these are stored on the earth. That's why our natural environment is a vast storehouse of innumerable usable substances which are useful to human beings. बहुत संग्रहालय है, भंडार है. As we have in our home, we store the things, no, for our use. So earth is also storing so many usable substances which are useful for human beings. We need these things to fulfill our basic needs as well as to satisfy our urge for better living. So whatever the things are stored in the natural environment of the earth, so these all the things are they fulfill our basic needs. Okay, so water is there, so we know we drink water, we use water for cooking and so many things. Air is there, and other than that we have different minerals, different the rocks, the ores and everything. So these all are used to fulfill our basic needs. Okay, so these all are stored on earth. That's why earth is environment is called, natural environment is called as storehouse. Okay, done. Next thing is, the next question is, the chapter name itself implies resources, so let us see what is resource. Okay, anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resource. Anything which is used to satisfy the need. जरूरत, जो कुछ भी चीज है जो जरूरत को फुलफिल करता है, जरूरत को मतलब that satisfies your basic need, whatever need it may be, that becomes your resource. Any substance which satisfies the need is called as resource. For example, if you are thirsty, okay, thirst मतलब आप प्यासे हो, then just to fulfill that thirst, if water is, we drink water, then water is a resource. If you are hungry, okay, then just to fulfill your hunger, if you are eating something, if you are eating fruit, then fruit becomes your resource. Okay, So if you are learning, okay, just to get the knowledge, if you want to read, then textbook is giving you knowledge, so it is satisfying your need, so textbook becomes your resource. Okay, so if you want to move from one place to another place, okay, you can walk also, but just to save the time you need some mode of transportation. So if at that time, just to fulfill your need to move from one place to another place, if you are using rickshaw, auto, bus, so those things will become your resources, same as vegetation. Okay, so anything is used to satisfy the need is called as resource. Then what makes what make the thing as resource, that is the thing's utility. The common thing is utility, matlab how to use. If the thing is coming in use, the substance is being used, then that thing will become resource. The common thing is utility. Utility or usability is what makes an object or substance as resource, isn't it? The same thing I explained earlier. So if anything is in use, okay, any material, if you are using it, and why are you using it? You are using it to satisfy your basic need. Okay, if it is, you are using it to satisfy your need, so anything that is satisfying your need, if anything if you are using, so that utility and usability makes the substance as resource. Okay, then how does something becomes a resource? Okay, then the thing becomes resource only when it has a value. When it is used, it has value, isn't it? The thing, see, let us go step by step. What is resource? Anything which satisfy the need is called as resource. So the thing should be used. Okay, the thing should be used. And how does something become as resource? How it is been used? When it is been used, when it has some value, when it has some importance, then it is been used, isn't it? Then things become resource when only when they have value. Then anything which has a value or worth is called as resource. For example, what do you mean by value? Value is what? Value may be economical or aesthetic. Like, example, economical value means now you have a rock, or you have iron ore. Iron ore, what you do, you extract the iron ore from the earth crust, then you process it. Okay, it becomes iron, then it can be transformed using technology into different goods, then it can be sold, फिर उससे पैसे आएगा, it has economic value. जैसे कि आयरन ओर है, उसको हम प्रोसेस करते हैं, उससे आयरन निकलेगा, फिर उससे डिफरेंट इक्विपमेंट्स करोगे, आप उसको बेचोगे, फिर बेचने की जो पैसा आता है, इट हैज इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू. Okay, so we know that iron ore is a resource. But there are certain things in the environment which does not have the economical value. For example, is your air. Air का कुछ economical value है क्या? But we know that air is compulsory. Air is must. Air is compulsory to satisfy the basic need of our life. That is to breathe. और उसका कोई पैसा नहीं है. But then also it has value, isn't it? So if anything has an economical or aesthetic value, that also becomes a resource. What is resource? Anything which is it satisfies the basic need, anything which has the utility, anything which has usability, anything which has the value, either economic or aesthetic value, that is man-made. I'm sorry, so there's a technical problem. It takes some time. Okay. Then classification of resources. The resources are categorized into three different categories. One is natural resources, which are available naturally, man-made resources, and human resources. Okay. Then let us see about natural resources. What are natural resources? Which are directly available from the nature. And these natural resources are categorized on the basis of their origin. मतलब कैसे उनका जन्म हुआ, कैसे वो आए, how they have originated. The first category on the basis of their origin is biotic resource and abiotic resource. And second category, how they classified depending on their exhaustibility, that is renewable, inexhaustible resources, and second is non-renewable or non-exhaustible. Third one is the based on their development, that is potential resources, and the second is actual resources. The fourth type of categorization is on the basis of ownership, that is your individual or personal resources, community resources, national resources, and worldwide resources. Then the last one is the classification based on the distribution is, that is ambiguous resources or localized resources. Okay, so these are the different classification of natural resources. See, before this we have seen resources are categorized into three different types: natural, man-made, and human resource. In that, natural, again it has been classified depending on the origin, exhaustibility, stage of development, ownership, and so now let us see on the basis of origin the natural resources, how they categorized depending on based on their origin. So based on their origin, the resources are categorized into biotic and abiotic. Okay, the biotic, as the name itself implies, these resources are derived from the living things, and abiotic, the resources which are not. Fine. Then biotic resources, substances obtained from living beings. Whatever the resources, whatever substance we have, so everything comes from the living beings. For example, it includes vegetation, different types of plant system, plants, birds, domestic animals, and wildlife. So these all are your biotic resources. Okay, what it includes, it includes vegetation, the different types of plants, trees, then birds, domestic animals, and wildlife. Vegetation gives rise to economic activities like forestry and lumbering, pastoral farming, and एग्रीकल्चर. वेजिटेशन कैसे रिसोर्स हो सकता है, वेजिटेशन कैसे इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी को लीड करेगा. फॉरेस्ट्री है तो you have different raw materials from the forest. Okay, then you have the different types of agriculture and farming technologies. And how the animals are being used, animals and birds can be used as resource. Animals and fishes can be used for livestock raising, dairy farm and fisheries. तो animals and birds कैसे use कर सकते हैं? So animals like the goats, cows, they can be used for the dairy farming. Then we can use fishes for the fisheries, isn't it? Then the birds like a chicken as a poultry farm. So like this, the vegetation, animals and birds can be used as resource to give rise to economic activities. Then the most important thing is, human itself is a biotic resource. What is biotic resource? What is biotic? Living things. तो living thing जो भी है which is used as resource, isn't it? That's biotic resource. So in that, human being himself is a biotic resource. Man himself is a biotic resource. He is often termed as human resource. Okay, so आदमी खुद एक resource है. कैसे? The use and development of all other resources is determined by humans, है ना? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जो कोई भी चीज़ हम कितना यूज़ कर सकते हैं, वो कितना काम का है, कहाँ यूज़ कर सकते हैं, कैसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं, ये सब कौन डिसाइड करता है? ह्यूमन डिसाइड करता है. तो ह्यूमन इज डिसाइडिंग हिमसेल्फ वेयर टू यूज व्हाट, है ना. सो विदाउट दैट इट वाज नॉट बीइंग प्रोसेस्ड, isn't it? Humans with their intelligence transform natural occurring substance into usable resources. क्या करता है आदमी अपना इंटेलिजेंस से, अपने हार्डवर्क से कोई भी रॉ मटेरियल को एक यूजेबल चीज बनाता है, तो डेफिनेटली ह्यूमन इज यूजिंग हिज इंटेलिजेंस as the need, he is using his intelligence to fulfill the need. So that's why human himself is termed as a biotic resource. Okay, example is your brain. Until you use it, we have seen what is resource. Anything which is in use, that is a resource. So human, if you use your brain, it becomes resource. If you does, it will not. Okay, but the humans are considered as the it's the most important biotic resources. Then next is abiotic. Abiotic जैसे कि नाम है इसका, as the name itself implies, abiotic which are non-living substances, जिसमें कोई जान नहीं है. It includes air, water, land or soil, rocks and minerals in the earth's crust. मतलब जिसको जान नहीं है, but then also they have the usability. They can be utilized like air, water, land, rocks, minerals which are available on the earth's crust. Okay, they are used directly or indirectly. They are used as a resource directly or indirectly. Directly, water we drink. Okay, water we drink. Whether we can eat fire? No. Fire can be used indirectly as a resource. Okay, we eat food, that vegetation, but whether can we eat mud? No. So eating, they have some uses directly or indirectly. Fine. Then let us see the difference between biotic resource and abiotic resources. Now we have seen what is biotic. The biotic resources, anything which is coming from the living beings like human, birds, vegetation, animals. So see, these all are biotic. Abiotic, the resources which are non-living, air, water, land, rock, minerals and all. So now we'll see the comparative study of the biotic and abiotic resources. What is biotic in that column? All those resources which are obtained from the biosphere and have life are known as biotic resources. जो भी अपना resources में जीव है, which has life, whatever the resources which has life, so they are called as biotic resources. In abiotic, all those resources which are composed of non-living things are called as abiotic. The simple difference is biotic resources are living things, abiotic resources are non-living things. In biotic, biotic can be classified as producer, consumer and decomposer. Biotic resources जिसमें जान है, तो of course the living things, they are having their own process, so they can be categorized, they can be classified as a producer. Producer जो आप produce करते हैं, है ना. Then consumer, there are certain animals or the vegetations or the birds which are can be utilized as consumers. Then you have decomposer. Decomposer क्या होता है? When anything goes to the in the earth, it bacteria, viruses, they can be termed as decomposers. Producers are your plants, consumers are your animals, decomposers are your bacteria and viruses. Abiotic can be classified as renewable and non-renewable. Renewable which can be generated again and again, which will not destroy. Non-renewable meaning which can be destroyed, which cannot be produced again and again. In the biotic resources, the examples are forest, living things, humans, etc. And in the abiotic, we have seen already the light, rain, soil, etc. Then, on the basis of their exhaustibility, उनका existence कैसा है, whether it can be regenerated or not. On the basis of their exhaustibility, the resources are categorized into renewable or inexhaustible resources. Renewable मतलब जब हम उनको regenerate कर सकते हैं, जो inexhaustible है, जो खत्म नहीं होता, जो destroy नहीं होता, which cannot be vanished, that is your renewable. In non-renewable और exhaustible, जो खत्म हो जाएगा, destroy हो जाएगा, जिसको हम और create, regenerate नहीं कर सकते, is your non-renewable. Now let us see which are the resources are categorized in renewable. The flow resources are the best examples. Flow resources. Now the question comes, which are the flow resources? मतलब which are continuously being in a flow to generate. Like example, sunlight, wind, water, air, etc. So they are flow resources. What do you mean by flow resources? If you take water, what happens? We use water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, agriculture and everything. Okay, that will go as it flows into the river, it goes to ocean, है ना? Then after that process, sunlight will process it, फिर वो भाप जाएगा, it will convert into clouds, again it will rain, again we use it, again it goes to rivers, again it goes to ocean. So they are in continuous flow, isn't it? So there, those are called as flow resources. So renewable resources, all the flow resources are the best examples of renewable or inexhaustible resources. Examples are sunlight, wind, water and air. Water and air is used repetitively by humans, isn't it? And how air is flow? We breathe oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, plant takes carbon, they gives oxygen, we take oxygen, we breathe out carbon, continue flow in chain, है ना? So water and air is used repetitively by humans. As the stock is continuous, they are called as resources. उनका stock continue flow में है, they are in chain, they won't be destroyed. Once I take oxygen, whether it cannot be regenerated or what? No, it's in flow. The plants take it and it gives the oxygen again. Whatever I leave carbon, the plants take, they give oxygen, I take oxygen, isn't it? So they are in a flow, they are in a chain. The quantity of sunlight is not affected due to its injudicious use. How much, however you want, you can use sunlight. Whether it affects, अब ज़्यादा use करोगे तो sunlight कम हो जाएगा क्या? No, when until the sun is there in the solar system, जब तक सूरज है solar system में, आपको continuously sunlight मिलते रहेगा. So that's why these all are called as flow resources. With the help of science and technology, humans use these flow types of energy. With the help of science and technology, क्या होता है? Human, all these flow resources are used for fulfilling their requirement. For example, the power generated by solar energy, then the electricity generated by wind energy, and the electricity generated by the and etc. Then, in renewable, such energy renewed again by proper management. Okay, फिर ऐसे ही नहीं होता, इसका भी एक लिमिट होता है. So, just to regenerate it again, the proper management should be done. How the proper management should be done? See, for example, see if we know earth, आप उसके अंदर खेती करोगे, if you do agriculture, if you get the crops, whether earth will get vanish? No, but it will be there, but it should be processed, it should be managed in a proper way such that the yield should be, adequate. उसका आउटपुट बराबर आने के लिए हमको क्या करना चाहिए? उसका मैनेजमेंट होना चाहिए प्रॉपर. जैसे कि फर्टिलिटी ऑफ सॉइल इज इंक्रीज्ड बाय एडिशन ऑफ डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस. अगर आप कंटिन्यूसली खेती बाड़ी सिर्फ करते करोगे, आप चीज़ें उगाओगे, एक दिन उसका फर्टिलिटी खत्म हो जाएगा. मगर ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है. वी शुड मैनेज, वी शुड डू सम डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस. वी नो लाइक डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस which we do on the soil to maintain its fertility. Biotic processes are renewed resources. They can multiply and are naturally renewed by the process of reproduction. मतलब see, it should be processed. जो आपका नॉन लिविंग है, नॉन लिविंग रिसोर्सेस है, उसके लिए अपने को एडिशनल प्रोसेस करना पड़ेगा. जैसे कि पानी है तो पानी प्रॉपर यूज करना पड़ेगा, उसको ज़्यादा वेस्ट नहीं करना है. फिर ओशन का पानी शुड बी प्रोसेस्ड टू मेक इट एज यूजेबल, isn't it? So the non-living or the abiotic resources need some proper management, need some process. But the biotic resources, they can multiply themselves naturally by the process of reproduction. How? The example is your forest. The forest can be regenerated by plantation. How? See, in a forest you have plenty of plants, trees. सो व्हाट दे डू द रिप्रोडक्शन एंड विद दैट दे हैव सीड्स. फिर वो बीज नीचे गिरते हैं, फिर से और झाड़ उगते हैं, isn't it? तो कंटिन्यू फ्लो में होता है बायोटिक रिसोर्सेस, वो उसको ज्यादा प्रोसेसिंग की जरूरत नहीं है. द प्रोसेसिंग इज नीडेड फॉर द बायोटिक रिसोर्सेस. देन नेक्स्ट कम्स इज योर नॉन रिन्यूएबल और एग्जॉस्टेबल रिसोर्सेस. मतलब जो आप रीजनरेट नहीं कर सकते, जो नेचुरली रीजनरेट नहीं होता, जो यूज करने के बाद खत्म हो जाता है, तो ऐसे रिसोर्सेस को हम बोलते हैं नॉन रिन्यूएबल और एग्जॉस्टेबल रिसोर्सेस. दैट स्टॉक which is disappear gradually with use. जो भी स्टॉक है अर्थ में जो भी स्टॉक है, जैसे जैसे आप यूज करते जाओगे वो खत्म हो जाएगा, ग्रेजुअली डिसअपियर्स विथ इट्स यूज. तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रिन्यूएबल, विच कैन नॉट बी रीजनरेटेड अगेन. दे कांट रिप्रोड्यूस because they are non-living. And the example is your coal, petroleum, iron, gold, copper. So these are the mines which are having limited stock in the earth's crust. उसका अर्थ में लिमिटेड स्टॉक है, आप जैसे जैसे यूज करते जाओगे वो खत्म होते जाएगा, फिर वो रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं करता. कोल को रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं करता है. गोल्ड माइन है तो आज एक दूसरा गोल्ड है, थोड़ा रखोगे तो कल दो नहीं हो जाते. Okay, so it cannot be regenerated. The quantity is more or less fixed because their formation takes millions of years. क्या है? These non-renewable resources, that quantity is fixed, more or less. कुछ थोड़ा है या फिर ज़्यादा है, मगर उनका क्वांटिटी जो है, वो स्टोर जो है अपने अर्थ क्रस्ट में, वो लिमिटेड है. Because to generate this, it has took millions of years from the fossils and all. So ये बनने के लिए बहुत साल लगे हैं. Okay, इसका क्वांटिटी फिक्स्ड है. दे आर डिस्ट्रॉयड विथ यूज. जैसे जैसे आप यूज करते जाओगे वो खत्म होते जाएंगे. एग्जाम्पल इज फॉसिल फ्यूल्स एंड मिनरल्स.